Passive income is one of the most important things you can do if you want to be able to have a much more secure financial future. Because I think with the Great Resignation, everything else we see going on around us, we've all woken up to the idea that there's no such thing as job security. But at the same time, I do know that there are a lot of things out there that are misinformation. And so what I want to do is I want to tell you how you can start earning passive income even a little bit at a time, maybe even just an extra $500 to $1,000 a month without any get-rich-quick schemes or shady multi-level marketing or any of that nonsense. Because the truth and the fact is that when we say passive income, we're talking about automated income. Automation is currently displacing a lot of work as it is right now, and there are people who profit and benefit from how automation allows a customer to put money in and get value out. It's kind of a vending machine based model of exchange instead of trading time for money, which, let's just be honest, hasn't exactly been working out for a lot of people. The most important thing to understand about this and why passive income, particularly the type that I'm going to get into, is not a get-rich-quick scheme is, number one, well, it didn't work out quickly for me. That's a big part of it. But the other part of it is just understanding that we're talking about exchanging value. That's a big qualifier. And nobody ever actually made money in their sleep overnight. It was a process and it requires specific skill sets and information. And so that's what I want to get into really with today's video. And we're going to approach this and I'm going to talk to you about 3 specific ways how you can start making $1,000 a month in passive income. And I'm going to start with one that might be obvious to a lot of you. The funny thing about the concept of there being no such thing as passive income is that every single YouTuber that you've ever heard say that nonsense, which according to the IRS actually isn't true, by the way. The IRS says there's passive income, they tax it. That's a thing. So it does exist, but the funny notion about influencers and people on social media, on YouTube and TikTok who say this nonsense is, well, they're all making passive income. They're making passive income as content creators. Because again, we're talking about automation. We're talking about a mechanism where they're generating money without actively trading time for their money. They're getting paid residual income from content that they may have created weeks, months, or even years ago. And I know this from personal experience here on YouTube. There's content I've made on YouTube in terms of tutorials that still 4 years after the fact continue to pay me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year for work that I did a very long time ago. Yes, some people would argue that that's not passive income because, oh, you did actual work at some point, but that's not how you define passive income. It's not making money without doing any work. It's making money without doing work today and still making money today. It is getting paid today, even without having to actively exchange time for wages. That's all we're really talking about. We're talking about an exchange of value where you're not having to do work right this moment. You are benefiting from work you've previously done or value that you are still creating without being involved. And there's a lot of ways that this is done for content creators. And this has actually been true for a very long time. If you were a musician, for example, let's just say you weren't even a YouTuber. If you were a musician, you could be making money off of licensing your music and still getting music sales. You also could be getting royalties from streaming services like Apple and Spotify and Amazon right this moment. Book sales in terms of the licensing of your books and the publishing of that in multiple languages, or the ebooks and audiobooks. You could be making money, royalties in perpetuity for all of that. Or if you made a deal where you invented something and you sold the licensing rights to your invention or your patents, you could be making money on royalties in perpetuity. And royalties is a form of taxable income that is under the classification of passive income as acknowledged by the IRS here in America. In fact, YouTube changed its terms of service to classify this income that we make as content creators on the YouTube platform as royalty-based income because of different negotiations and treaties we have with other countries involving taxes. And so to say that there's no such thing as passive income, especially if you're doing it on a platform like YouTube, is actually kind of ridiculous. So by creating intellectual property and content that can either pay you through a platform-based revenue system or the traditional royalty model that we see with music and television, movies, licensing photographs, things of that nature, that is a form of legitimate passive income. Now, the way that a lot of people earn as much as $1,000 a month from the passive income, if you're a YouTube content creator, it's by making consistent content and by generating ad revenue around that. If you have a large library of what's called evergreen content, then you could basically stack your ability to continue to make revenue even when you're not uploading videos. For mental health reasons and things during the pandemic, there have been times where I've taken more than a month off from YouTube or even 2 months off from YouTube and still made thousands of dollars in ad revenue alone. That's not something you can do with a traditional wage-based income model. And that is one of the reasons that people pursue this type of thing, because it allows them more time freedom. And yes, it's variable income. And a lot of people go, well, what if YouTube goes away? Well, we probably over the last couple of years have seen that thing called job security is largely a myth. It's more likely that that goes away than you lose YouTube in some way. It's much more likely. With that being said, YouTube's not the only way to make passive income. It is a very practical way, but if you have a podcast, a blog, or some other form of social media, or a way to generate traffic, another method of passive income is e-commerce and directly selling to an audience instead of taking revenue from a platform. You can obviously do both, and that would be a really good way to start to earn passive income. The most obvious way for a lot of people is print-on-demand products such as t-shirts, hats, even posters and things of that nature. Now, the margins on these actually, in many cases, end up being about the same as if you wrote a book and sold it, but it's a lot easier to design a cool t-shirt or hoodie based on a meme or a slogan or an affirmation. You probably won't make a lot of money selling your logo unless you're like a famous person, but you could actually just lean into a culture and something that's really interesting or just really dope artwork. And you could probably make the same kind of money as if you had book sales. And it's probably easier to sell this than to sell a book because it's something that doesn't require a huge commitment. Typically, you will make somewhere between $5 and $8 on most print-on-demand products after cost. If you use platforms like Spreadshirt, they're something that you get to use even here on YouTube. If you get to 10,000 subscribers, they actually put an integrated merch shelf below your YouTube videos to help you easily promote it to your audience. There's things like that. Well, you don't pay money up front, but the money is directly taken out of the profits you would otherwise make. And that's how the print-on-demand services work. So again, you typically make somewhere between $5, $8, $12 per sale, depending on what it is. Which means if you wanted to make $1,000 in passive income from shirt sales, merchandise, that sort of thing, if that's your product system, then let's look at that. You'd probably have to make somewhere between 150, 200 sales. If you have enough traffic, then that's actually not going to be that difficult. You might need to have some kind of traffic source where you're having 100,000 visitors on your platform to kind of translate to those buying customers. And so that is a considerable amount of traffic, but if you're making quality content, it's actually not that bad. That's also about what a lot of people tend to need, somewhere between 100,000 to 1 million views on YouTube to earn $1,000, depending on what niche you're in. In my particular niche, if I get 100,000 views on YouTube, I make about $1,500 for every 100,000 views. So as you can see, it really depends on your niche, the type of audience you have, what kind of commitment they can make, and how affluent they might be. But they don't need a large sum of disposable income for you to start making decent money. There are other types of e-commerce as well. You don't necessarily have to sell physical print-on-demand products, but for those of you who are skeptical, you're gonna be more comfortable with physical products because you're getting exchange of value there where it's something people can hold in their hands. But digital projects that you do in terms of templates, downloads, and things of that nature, this could be for web design, graphic design, any number of things. Well, those kind of assets tend to be something that, one, you can charge a little bit more for, but you actually keep more of the profits. Your profit margins on this, if you have let's say a $30 product, you're probably going to keep $25 of that $30 when transaction fees and all of that is said and done. So keeping more than 90% of the revenue probably is going to be very nice compared to making 20 or 30% margins on physical products. And a lot of people do go into digital course sales with this. I have nothing against digital course sellers, to be honest. I know a lot of people like to complain about it, but I feel like if someone is qualified in what they do, I don't see a problem with that, and it can be extremely lucrative. If you want to go into digital courses, the same way for print on demand, I recommended Spreadshirt for you, which you can sign up for $0. I do have a free trial link if you want to try out a platform called Kajabi. I use it for my membership website. Membership is not passive if you do it the way I do, where you're doing live in-person, not in-person, virtual live training in real time, then that's not passive. It's a more active or hybrid business model. But if you sell a do-it-yourself course that someone can learn at their own pace on their own time, you can use something like Kajabi, and that would allow you to sell it directly, host it with unlimited uploads, and make passive income that way. I'm going to link to that down below if you want to check out a free trial. That is my affiliate link, which actually is a good segue to another way that you can make passive income. Another way you can make passive income is affiliate marketing and affiliate sales. Again, this is something I know people get really sketched out about and want to say is a scam, but it's not. I want you to imagine for a minute that you were getting 10%, 20%, 30% of every sale that you've ever made for your current employer or your previous employer, that you got to keep 30%, let's say, of every dollar that you ever made that company. Well, wouldn't that be great? The problem is, if you were going to get that, they'd be like, well, then you're commission only and we're not going to pay you a salary. Most people are not in a position to take that risk in terms of a full-time income. However, as a side hustle, as extra money, well, now you're talking. And so the way that affiliate marketing works is it is commission sales. So you might get either a fixed rate called a bounty for when you refer somebody. The easiest way a lot of people get into this is Amazon. I think the best way to start is Audible, because it is a $5 flat fee on a free trial of Audible, recommending a book, an audiobook people can listen to. They get to keep it for free forever. It costs them $0 and you get a $5 commission, which means to make $100, you recommend 20 people that spend $0 and get an audiobook forever, okay? So that means you need 200 of those to make $1,000 a month. Now, this could be a little bit more challenging because, well, you can't basically get repeatable earnings out of this. It's a one-to-one. Every one person you get, that's the $5 you're gonna get off of this with the Audible side, and that's basically it. But that doesn't mean that you can't double dip on this with Amazon affiliate links and still benefit from other things they might purchase, or physical books or ebooks for Kindle. There are a lot of opportunities within the Amazon ecosystem to earn money and earn passive income. Again, you could even make your own book or ebook. That wouldn't actually, you could make an ebook for like $0 and you could actually earn off of that as well. I just happen to think it's harder to write a book, something I'm currently finishing up myself. It's harder to write a book than it is to make a t-shirt or a hoodie or a hat design by far. And it's not even close. And at the end of the day, you're going to make the same money per transaction. It's just more prestigious to write a book. With all that in mind, Amazon is how a lot of people, myself included, get started in affiliate marketing. There are higher end things that can earn you more money in affiliate marketing. A primary example would be cameras and camera lenses. I use a lot of very expensive professional camera gear, both as a photographer and as a content creator. When I recommend professional camera gear to people that ask for me, I make sometimes $90 commissions on a single sale of single lens. So if I go high end, I only need 10, 15 customers on a high-end electronic, like a professional camera lens or camera body. 10, 15 of those, I made $1,000 in a month. That's it. Now, there are other categories where it is not nearly as lucrative. I'm giving you an example. So this is how someone makes $1,000 a month with affiliate marketing of selling existing physical products. You also can earn passive income through recurring affiliate commissions when you sell software and services. One of my best ones, obviously, is TubeBuddy, which exists for content creators. It's a YouTube plugin for productivity, SEO, organization. It also has tools to help you with your thumbnails and A/B testing and a lot of other cool features. And so I'm a super affiliate of theirs. And whenever I bring someone to TubeBuddy, I get 50% of what they spend with TubeBuddy for the lifetime of their account. It's been about 6 years, and I earn about $5,000 a month in recurring passive income from TubeBuddy as an affiliate that I would not have to go out and hustle for. What happens is eventually though, some people move on. They quit YouTube, they don't use the service anymore, things like that. And so when that happens, you obviously have that money start to go down. But as new people come in, you start to earn more. In my case, with helpful tutorials and things like that, I'm able to have more people sign up for free. But even the people who sign up for free, if they decide to start paying, I earn from that as well. So software as services are great ways to make passive income through affiliate marketing. You could also build your own software as a service, and you could earn a lot of income from building an app or building a software. Most people, myself included, just don't have that advance of a skill set to do that well, or the time and energy to do that, run it, marketing, invest in the servers, all of these different things. But you could tap into an ecosystem of a product that you already like, you already use, and you could recommend it to people like you. And that is how affiliate marketing works. And when I break it down like that, you got to admit, there's not really anything scammy or sketchy about this. You can make content for an audience of people that like what you have to say and like your personality. You can earn passive income through ad revenue from that. You could make cool products, whether they're physical or digital, that audience actually likes and enjoys and wants to have, and people can put money in and get the thing that they want at, and you don't have to physically be part of that process. It's a transaction. The same thing for referring business to a company you already buy from, you already trust. You're getting a cut of that transaction without having to be an employee of the company. That's how passive income works. That's how people make money online. This is how people are making money in their sleep. This is how people make $1,000 or more a month. And this could be extra income, or this could provide a very good livelihood for people either way. And when you diversify like this with content creation, selling your own products, and affiliate marketing, this is how most people who are social media content creators and influencers actually diversify their income and earn a full-time income as a content creator. And now you know more or less the same thing that they know. And this is how people are doing it, myself included. Like I said, passive income, not something that people do overnight. People who make money in their sleep don't do it overnight. It takes time. A lot of times, I think it takes about maybe 3 to 5 years to start to get a really good, stable footing. But you could start small with your first $100 to $1,000 a month, and that would be something extra for you that might be able to relieve stress, solve some problems in your life, or allow you to start to move forward in something you're more passionate about. If you enjoyed this video on passive income, make sure you check out my Make Money Online playlist. I'm gonna link to that down below. If you're actually curious about some ways to make money online that I know actually work, I'm gonna link to a video that I also think you enjoy. Both of those are gonna be in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, go out there and create something awesome today. Take care.